Hello and a very warm welcome. I am Gushin Garland and you're watching Firstpost. In the next few minutes, I get you the top 50 updates from around the world, only here on Fast and Factual. Let's get started. We begin with the ongoing BRICS summit in Brazil. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi took a jab at Pakistan, condemning terrorism, adding that doing so must be a matter of principle and not just of convenience. Taking a dig at Pakistan, he also said countries that support terrorism directly or indirectly will have to pay the price for it. In a joint statement, the BRICS nations slammed unilateral tariffs and military aggression, indirectly criticizing US President Donald Trump's trade and foreign policies. The bloc of 11 emerging economies, including India, China and Russia, warned that indiscriminate tariffs threaten global stability. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump has criticized the BRICS bloc. He threatened to impose an additional 10% tariff on countries, aligning with what he called BRICS's anti-American policies. Trump stated there would be no exceptions to the policy in a post on Truth Social. This is in addition to the 100% duties he warned of imposing on BRICS countries if they ditch the dollar. President Donald Trump criticized Tesla CEO Elon Musk's plan to start a new political party. Speaking to reporters, Trump called the idea ridiculous and said he would add to the confusion. He added that America's system is built for two parties and third-party efforts have never worked. According to reports, the first round of indirect ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas have ended in Doha. However, there was no breakthrough. As per reports, the talks lasted for over 3 decades and both the parties were placed in 2 different buildings. Qatari and Egyptian mediators exchanged messages and clarifications. This is as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is on his way to the US. Tensions escalated in the Red Sea after Israel launched airstrikes on key Houthi-held ports in Yemen early Monday. The strikes targeting Hodeidah, Ras Isa and Salif came in response to a suspected Houthi attack on a commercial ship, which caught fire and was later abandoned by its crew. The Houthis retaliated with missile fire aimed at Israel, while the Israeli military attempted to intercept the projectiles. No injuries have been reported so far. Russia says it shot down 90 Ukrainian drones overnight across its territory, including 8 aimed at Moscow and 3 near St. Petersburg. The attacks led to temporary airport shutdowns and flight delays. No major damage has been reported, but tensions remain high. As per Ukrainian authorities, Russia launched 101 drones and 4 missiles targeting 2 recruitment centers in separate cities. The authorities also said that at least 4 people died and over 30 injured across the nation by Russian strikes. 2 died in Sumy, 1 in Odessa and 1 in Kherson. The attacks also triggered evacuation and people were sent to bomb shelters in Kharkiv. In Australia, after 2 months of detailed hearings in the mushroom murders case, accused Erin Patterson has been convicted of murdering 3 relatives and attempting to murder a 4th with a deadly beef Wellington lunch 2 years ago. 50-year-old Patterson has claimed the toxic fungi were used by accident, a claim the court has rejected, as the jury reached the verdict in the high-profile trial that gripped global attention. An all-party Indian Parliamentary Forum has called on the centre to award the Bharat Ratna, the highest civilian award of the country, to the Dalai Lama and let him address Parliament. The forum, backed by Member of Parliaments, passed a resolution and launched a signature campaign in support of the Tibetan leader. The campaign has at least 80 signatures so far. Beijing had previously criticized the group after its inaugural session last year. On to climate news now. In Brazil's Rio, BRICS leaders also demanded climate funding from wealthy nations. They said rich countries must pay to help poor ones reduce emissions and save endangered forests. Leaders also defended the use of fossil fuels in developing economies. Meanwhile, the host Brazil called for a new forest protection fund backed by China and the UAE. The summit also called for reforms in global institutions and condemned Western trade policies for using environmental laws as trade barriers. In the United States, the death toll from flash floods has risen to 80 in Texas as floods swept through central parts of the state on Friday. Most deaths were reported from Kerr County, where a girls' summer camp was swept away. According to officials, dozens remain missing as emergency response teams work around the clock. President Trump declared it a major disaster and said he would visit the state soon. Meanwhile, more storms are expected in the next 2 days. Parts of New Mexico were hit by flash floods on Sunday as the Weather Service issued warnings. It said severe storms would continue through Monday with large hailstorm winds and torrential rain. Heavy rainfall flooded streets and parking lots in the town of Ruidoso. Meanwhile, residents were urged to stay alert as storm conditions persisted. Typhoon Danis slammed southern Taiwan with strong winds and heavy rain today. 2 people died and over 330 were injured as the storm hit island's west coast. Meanwhile, in 13 counties and cities, schools and businesses shut down as streets were flooded. According to the reports, the typhoon weakened as it moved towards the Taiwan Strait. In India, heavy monsoon rains hit Delhi and Mumbai, prompting yellow alert in both cities. The Weather Department issued the alert after early morning showers hit the national capital region of Delhi. However, Mumbai is expected to experience overcast skies with moderate to heavy rainfall throughout the day. Commuters have been advised to watch for traffic jams and waterlogging. Meanwhile, the Weather Department has warned of strong winds and heavy showers in several parts of India until July 12th. On to business and tech news now. Stock markets in Asia slipped earlier today as confusion grew over US tariff policy, with officials signaling a delay but offering few details. Japan's Nikkei fell 0.5% while Chinese blue chips dropped sharply, and South Korean stocks flattened out. European stock futures also moved lower, with FTSE and Euro stocks sticking down strictly as trade uncertainty continued to dampen sentiment. Meanwhile, oil prices slipped earlier today after OPEC Plus surpassed markets with a larger output hike for August, adding pressure on an already fragile demand outlook. Brent crude fell to just under $68 a barrel, while US crude slid more than 1%, as investors weighed the impact of surging supply. The US dollar hovered near multi-year lows, sliding to the weakest since 2015 against the Swiss franc and pressured by tariff uncertainty ahead of the August 1 deadline. The euro traded just below its 2021 peak, while sterling and the yen held steady as markets priced in potential volatility from new tariff moves. A new survey showed British executives were turning away from the US, with only 2% seeing America as an attractive investment destination, down sharply from nearly 60% late last year. The shift followed a slump in US foreign investment and growing uncertainty over President Trump's tariff policies, which have rattled global businesses' confidence. Data showed Japan's real wages dropped sharply in May, falling nearly 3% from a year earlier, as rising prices continue to outpace pay. It was the biggest drop in almost 2 years and marked the 5th straight month of decline, despite recent pay hikes for some unionized workers. The weak wage data raised fresh worries for Japan's economy, with US tariffs and global uncertainty adding pressures. China reportedly released a new plan with 14 tasks aimed at retraining rural workers to boost job prospects and support city migrants. The move came amid a slowing economy and growing US tensions as China worked to build a stronger agricultural sector and manage the needs of nearly 300 million migrant workers. The plan included vocational training, housing support, and efforts to help rural workers access public services, while also backing jobs for young graduates in the cities. Nissan was reportedly in talks to let Taiwan's Foxconn use one of its Japanese factories to build electric vehicles and possibly avoid a plant shutdown amid sweeping job cuts and a global restructuring plan. The Opama plant south of Tokyo had been facing closure, but Foxconn's entry could help preserve jobs for nearly 4,000 workers and give new life to Nissan's domestic operations. Investment firm Azoria Partners postponed the launch of its Tesla-themed exchange trade fund after Elon Musk announced the formation of a new US political party, sending shockwaves through both markets and Tesla investors. The exchange trade fund was set to debut next week, but Azoria's CEO said Musk's political move raised questions about his commitment to Tesla as chief executive. TikTok was reportedly building a new version of its app for US users ahead of a possible sale to American investors as talks between Washington and Beijing were set to resume this week. President Trump said the US pretty much had a deal in place and would speak with China as early as today to finalize the future of short video platform. French tech giant Capgemini announced it will acquire business services firm WNS for $3.3 billion in a cash deal aimed at boosting its global transformation capabilities. Capgemini said the deal will immediately boost its revenue and profit margins as it expands its presence in business process outsourcing and strengthens ties to fast-growing markets. Moving to sports, we begin with cricket. India crushed England by 336 runs in the second test of their 5-match series. Chasing the mammoth target of 608 runs, the hosts were bowled out at 271 runs. This came as visiting captain Shubman Gill made 161 runs in the second innings at Edgbaston. The 25-year-old became the first batter in 148 years of Test history to score a double century and a 150-plus score in the same match. Fast bowler Akashdeep delivered a career-best match haul of 10 wickets for just 147 runs. And Australia beat West Indies by 133 runs on the fourth day of the second test in Grenada. After setting the daunting target of 277, the home side were bundled out for 143 off just 34.3 overs. The Australian side now have an unbeatable 2-0 lead in the 3-match series. International Cricket Council or ICC named broadcaster Sanjog Gupta as its new executive officer. Gupta, the ICC's 7th CEO, succeeds Jeff Aladas, who resigned from the post in January after 4 years in office. In Formula One, Lando Norris boosted his world title bid in memorable fashion as he drove to a commanding rain-splashed victory in the British Grand Prix. Norris drove ahead of McLaren teammate Oscar Piastri. It was his first home win, his 4th win of the year and the 8th of his career. Nico Hülkenberg came 3rd. Lewis Hamilton took 4th for Ferrari ahead of Red Bull's 4-time champion Max Verstappen. In tennis, we move to the latest action from Wimbledon. Men's world number 2 Carlos Alcaraz survived an astonishing Andrei Rublev to enter the Wimbledon quarter-finals. The Spaniard lost the first set to the Russian 14th seed but found his feet to win the contest 6-7, 6-3, 6-4, 6-4. The 5-time Grand Slam winner smashed 22 aces as he finally found his rhythm in the game. Alcaraz will face Britain's Cameron Norrie in the last 8 tomorrow. Men's world number 5 Taylor Fritz booked a place in the Wimbledon quarter-finals. This after his second round of 16 opponent Jordan Thompson of Australia retired injured. Fritz was leading with a 6-1, 3-0 scoreline when the Australian had a medical time out to deal with an apparent thigh problem. Women's world number 1 Ariana Sabalenka marched into the Wimbledon quarter-finals. Sabalenka beat her former doubles partner Elise Mertens in straight sets. The pair won the 2019 US Open and 2021 Australian Open together as double partnership. But Sabalenka has now won their last 10 meetings against each other in singles. Wimbledon organisers apologised after the electronic line calling system was turned off at a critical moment in a round of 16 match. The AI-enhanced Hawkeye Live system failed to register a critical point during the match between British wildcard Sonay Kartal and the Russian world number 50. The organisers said the AI technology was quote-unquote deactivated in error for one game. In football, Mexico defeated the United States 2-1 to retain the Intercontinental Gold Cup. The 77th minute header from Mexico skipper Edson Alvarez completed a come-from-behind victory. With this, the Mexicans lifted the title for a record-extending 10th time. Alvarez's winner capped his fairy-tale return to Houston after he had limped off in tears at the same venue during Mexico's Copa America game last year. And Norway are the first team to reach the Women's Euro 2025 quarter-finals. This after they beat Finland 2-1 in a group-level clash. Caroline Graham Hansen snatched the 3 points in 84th minute to give Norway a perfect 6 point from their 2 Group A fixtures. Host Switzerland beat already eliminated Iceland, meaning Norway have won the group with a match to spare. And finally, in entertainment news, Apple's F1 has taken the lead on the studio's scoreboard. The Formula One themed film has zoomed past Napoleon and Killers of Flower Moon with a $293 million global box office, making it Apple's highest grossing movie yet. After a string of costly flops, F1 might just be the fuel Apple needed to keep its big screen dreams alive. Dinosaurs are back, just not breaking records this time. Jurassic World Rebirth stormed into the theatres with a $147 million debut over 5 days. This is the data from around 4,300 theatres in North America, but still a significant drop from earlier films in the franchise. The original 2015 Jurassic World rose to $208 million in just 3 days. Director James Gunn says his upcoming Superman isn't just about capes and krypton. It's a reflection of America itself. In an interview, Gunn described the hero as an immigrant symbol shaped by kindness, a value he believes is sorely missing today. With the Trump-era immigration policies as backdrop, Gunn admits the film might ruffle feathers. Shape of You is still shaping history. Ed Sheeran's 2017 smash hit has topped Apple Music's 500 most streamed songs of the decade. The British crooner beat out of The Weeknd's Blinding Lights and Drake's God's Plan. The top 10 also features tracks by Post Malone, Billie Eilish, Travis Scott, Chris Brown and BTS. And Dakota Johnson is staring into the director's chair. At a film festival, the Madame Web star revealed she is prepping her first feature. The project is deeply personal and Johnson says she finally feels ready. She also shared her new golden rule for filmmaking, that is no more toxic sets or chaotic collaborations. If it's not a good match, we don't move forward, she said. That's all for today. Thank you for joining us. I am Gursheen Galan and we'll see you right back here tomorrow. Stay informed and stay tuned to Firstpost.